Okay, so I'm going on now to Unit 3 in the book, and on page 11 you're going to meet some new characters, CH, WH, TH and SH. So we'll start off with CH. Now the first thing we learn here at the top of the page is that C is joined to H, and it starts in the T position so that H is written on the line. And you know this from Unit 2, that if you have a small letter written before a longer letter, then you're going to write the small letter up at the top, and then you're going to write the longer letter below it, and that leaves your H on the line. So if you want to write CHR, you'll write CHR, and that can give you the word chair or the word cheer, or it can also give you the word chore, and you may be able to think of others. So basically by removing the vowels you end up with the same letters every time. CHR. Okay, the next one there is church. So again we have two CH blends there. Take away our vowel, and we have an R in the middle. Now you just write your CH there as normal, CH, up for R and down for CH, and that should end up sitting up above the line like that. The R kind of flattens out the top of the head of the second C there a wee bit, so you end up with CH, and then that C is kind of flattened out a wee bit, but that's fine because you still can go round for the C. Just something to watch out for is that the H doesn't end up too short. So if your writing's big, you could have a big C and a little H like that, and then RCH, and you're looking, is that an E, is that a U, what is it? You have to keep the letters in proportion. So you need your C there and your H nice and long like that, and then your R and your CH like that, so they all look fairly even. If that dips a teeny bit below that line, don't worry too much, but try and keep it on the line. Teacher then has a lot of vowels, so we're going, well, there's 3. So we're going to take out those vowels, and we are left then with TCHR. Now, T, insofar as possible, should go in its normal position. And definitely when it is the first letter in the word, it will have to go in its normal position. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. So T, being the first letter, goes up there, followed with CH, and then R. Now, a nice smooth outline, no lifting the pen, no stopping, no jolting. Go round as smoothly as you can. Okay, teacher. The next one then is patch. And this is interesting because with CH is going to be below the line. So we have the vowel gone. The T, the sound of the T is kind of blended with the CH sound, so we don't really need it. All we need is P and CH. So P is about half above, half below the line. So P, you just write CH. Now this doesn't matter at all, because when you come down here and here, you will write around it, okay? And it doesn't matter. Just make sure that that P is a P and that the CH follows it. I wrote it a bit short there. So what you don't want is maybe, to start too far up and just stop there, and then you're thinking, is that a H? Is that a P? What is it? It should start down here about a third to half the way up and go that far down, and then you go for CH. And that's unavoidable, so you go for it. Make sure your H is long enough that it's not looking like an indicator E or U. Now, WH is the next combination, and again, just as we had the WL before, we had our W in the T position followed by L, which left the L sitting on the line. We're going to do the same thing with H, so it's WH, WH, so that H has to go all the way down to the line. Now the W can't be starting here, because then you've got WE, or WU. It has to go up here. So the word when is WHN. Your H goes all the way down to the line, and that means that your N dips below the line. So all you do is you make sure you keep the size and the shape of the N. So that stem, that little stem of the N there, that little bit there, goes down below the line. So you've got W, oh sorry, I'll try it here, WHN. Don't put it down too long. If you go too long, it's a P, and then you're confused when you read it back. So it's WHN. Okay. Now, whom, to whom it may concern. The man to whom he sent the letter is WHM. It's like, these are like mirror images of each other, kind of. Okay, so WHM. And again, it's a nice smooth movement. Now whip has a H followed by a P. So what we're going to do is overlap the bottom part of the H with the top part of the P, and that's really all you're doing there. So you've got H followed by P. So basically, a little bit longer. Okay, so this and this are going to overlap. So you start your H way up here where it should be, and you go down to the line, and then you go on down for the bottom of P, and then you know that that's too long to be a H, so that has to be HP. So what you end up there with is WHP. Whip. The next one then, whimper. It's a word you might not use very often, but you know, you never know. So, but again, what we're doing is practicing using these combinations so that your brain will adapt easily if it finds a new word that it hasn't written before. So you've got W, H, M, P, R. Now don't be doing this sort of thing here where you do W, H, right, I've done that, stop there now, right, okay, right, doing M, right, okay, I've done an M down to the line, now I'm going to go down for P, and now I'm going to go up for R. That's not what you want. If you want to practice the letters first, fine, do that, but then when you write the word, do it in a fluid movement. So W, H, M, P, R. W, H, sorry, lost concentration there. W, H, M, P, R. I was thinking ahead to the P. And what you're doing is you're saying the word as you're writing it. Whimper, whimper, whimper. Keep saying that as you write it, okay? So then you have the TH blend. Now the TH blend is actually very, very useful because it comes into play for the word the. It gives you the word they, their, then, all sorts of words that we use in the English language, this and so on. So TH is written by blending the T up here in the T position, in the normal position, with the letter H in its normal position. So you're just going to write T followed by H, T followed by H. That's it. And actually on page 13 you'll find the word the, which is written TH, and I'd like you to learn that as well. So the word them is THM. Again, it's a nice fluid movement. THM. Say it a few times and then just say the word them, 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 them. Okay. Then THN gives you than. It also gives you thin. It also gives you then. So again, if you just change up the vowel, than, then, thin. So even though the sound is different, that's th, whereas that's th. Okay, it's still the same spelling. And it also gives you, if you want to write the word thon, right? So you can do that as well. I don't think there's a U one, so I can't think of that. Now, cloth, drop your O. We know that C has to come in the T position before L, so we're going to write that first. Now, we also know that L before T or D takes a little loop at the bottom so that you can write the T across. Sorry, that's not very well done there. So what you're going to do is write C, L with a loop. That's bad, sorry. That's a very big C and a small L. C, L, T, H. Again, the H is going below the line, but you're going to know that you're never going to follow, is there ever a word CLTP? I don't know. So hopefully you will know that that is CLTH. Now the last one then is path. Again, there's a P followed by a H, but this time it's followed by a TH. And there's nothing you can do. You have to do your P followed by your T followed by your H, which is going to go down through that line because otherwise it'll be too short. It'll look like an E or a U. There is nothing you can do about that, and that is quite okay. Just make sure the H is about normal length. The last one we're going to do then is what looks like a longhand S, and it actually represents SH. So this is where you have to watch your handwriting. So if you write an S sort of like that, or if you're inclined to put a wee loop on it or something like that, be careful, that won't work. It has to be a uniform shape and size, okay? So try and copy it from the book, write it out from the book. And as you write it, don't say S, say SH, 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 and just keep saying it and practicing it. And then try a few words. So here's should. Now should's quite a long word, but should has two vowels which are deleted, and the L is completely silent. So all we need is your SH blend and your D. So you're going to have SHD. Now what you do is you kind of flatten out the bottom of the S. So it's S over like that, right? And then back over for D. So it's SHD. SHD. What you want to avoid is this sort of thing where you've, you know, like a wee loop there. You want to just do SHD like that. If you do get that, don't worry too much, but try and practice it so it's short. It's closed in. Show is SHW, SHW, and then rash is RSH. So again, it's going to flatten out the top of the S a little bit. So RSH, okay. And then push is going to be PSH, PSH. So those are your outlines. Now, if you look at exercise 3.1 on page 11, so I'm using a wee torch here to try and make it bright because sometimes it's very dark. What I'd like you to do first of all is drill those outlines and then pause the video. Well, pause the video and drill the outlines and check. You know what to do when you've learned them. Write out the words in longhand, down along in the margin. So one word on every line or every second line. So you'll write the word cheer in the margin on the left, and then you'll leave the line clear and leave the next line clear. You'll write church in the margin and you'll leave the next line clear, and so on. And then you'll try to write each of those words in shorthand. And if you do not know a word, you put a circle around the longhand in your margin. So if you don't know how to write the word church, you just haven't a clue, you circle the word church in your margin. If you do write the word church in shorthand, but you get the outline wrong, you circle the outline. Or if it takes you a long time, like if you really hesitate over it and you're really not sure, you maybe get it right, but you're just not sure, you circle the outline. And you drill all of those words another maybe 20 to 30 times. And you keep doing that until you know them all pretty well. Then you come back here and you go to your book on page 11, or you turn on the video again and you try to read exercise 3.1. Now, at this point, I'd be making myself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or getting the dinner or whatever, and I'd be sitting down with my feet up and I'd be saying, right, I'll have a bit of crack with this now and see if I can figure this out. If this shorthand is actually does make any sense. And I'd be looking at this and I'd be saying, right, what do these mean? Now, some words are going to jump out at you and you'll be delighted and you say, oh, I got the word, it's great. And others you'll find very difficult, and others will be okay. Just spell them out. Start with the first letter and move to the last letter and say the letters to yourself. And if you actually write them down, it can help. So take the first one there, right? If that's a bit awkward, see, what on earth are those letters, right? And once you've kind of figured them out, then you're going to come over to your page and just write them down, and you'll say, well, okay, that looks like a C, the first one there. Now I'm going to do the outline here just to make it easy so you know what I'm talking about, right? So you've got that, and then you've got that, sort of. Right, so you'll say, well, that's a C, okay? And that looks like a H. And that looks a bit like a Q. So what could that be? And then you'll say, I wonder, could it be this? Right. And try and figure it out. Check. That's what it is. Now, C, H, Q. If I were writing that word, I'd probably be more inclined to write it a bit. I'd be writing it a bit more like that. C, H, Q. More like that. So the H is obvious, but the Q doesn't come as far up. That's a bit easier. So try and figure them out. I won't ask you to drill them, but just try and figure out first of all, what are the letters? If you get the letters, you're doing great. And then if you can make words out of the letters, that's fantastic. So the second one, I'll do the second one. So it's this here, okay? So you might say, okay, that's C. That looks like a H, and that looks like an S. What could that be? Well, look, so what I would do is I would keep the CH together, right? And see, can I put a vowel on there? Well, it could be chase. What E could that be? It could be chess. It could be cheese. It could be No, I don't think so. It could be chose. It could be choose. It could be Jimmy Choose either. I'm not going to try and spell that. You, I don't think, but you can tell me if you can think of anything. So there are 5 words that could be represented by CHS. So try that, just figure out the letters and then see for fun, can you make out words? And if you can't, don't worry. Okay, and that's the rest of today's lesson.